So we've got to a point now in Western society where a compliment has now been pushed into this Me 5 movement. So why should men take care of women in the West, right? Why should they extend a hand out to help them come up some steps or to help them with the door or anything like that? Why should they? Because it is so risky. That's the thing that's so ridiculous about these overweight, blue-haired women that are not interested in men at all have somehow infiltrated attractive women. It's the brilliant plan. If you're a feminist that's trying to destroy the chance of a relationship between a man and a woman, what better way to do it is to recruit women that are attractive, teach them that when a man says something to you, and get him fired. It's brilliant. It's so good. Like, if you're a feminist, it's like the ultimate plan. An interesting story came across my desk the other day. It actually came from Luba. And the story really made me think about the differences between culture and when it comes to harassment. Let's say that, okay? You know, you guys, maybe, I'd say a lot of guys now are really getting tired of the Me 5 movement, right? We'll say that, okay? I don't want to say anything that's going to trigger anything on YouTube. So, and how it's become, how the entire sphere has become ridiculous, and it's become a lot of virtue signaling, a lot of accusations towards men for women that have jumped on this bandwagon, right? And we're seeing a lot of it now in the news. And I'm not discounting the fact that bad things do happen, okay? And we need to focus on if something bad has happened, where's the evidence and all that sort of stuff, right? Okay. But Luba was telling me a story the other day when it came to harassment in a workplace that was interesting for me to listen to, because it really, it defines the difference between Western mentality and Ukrainian mentality and the culture when it comes to, I guess, to dating in this day and age, in 2023. We wouldn't be having this conversation 10, 20 years ago, okay? But the harassment that happened, most of us would have thought that was something, that was normal behavior for a man to do.
Yeah, I will try to really quick tell you one story that happened in the past that I was very upset about and I can't understand. And to be honest, in the back of my mind, I thought, is it actually true or no? And the second story about harassment kind of like happened recently to my very close friend that I know very well, and that was shock for me. So a couple of years ago, we had a client, and he was working for the big company driving trucks. And he had another friend that was working for this company for 25 years. And one day he got fired. And our client was telling me the story that how he got fired and how ridiculous is that. So basically this guy with a good reputation was working there for 25 years. And one day he came to the loading station where the lady need to put like some stuff or load his car with the product. And she was not ready for that. She thought that he will come later, whatever. And she said to him like, sorry, like I don't have, things are not accomplished yet. You need to wait a little bit. And this guy told her that that's fine. I enjoy the view. Take your time. So this lady, according to the story of our client, report harassment, and this guy got fired after 25 years of a perfect reputation working for the big company. When I heard this story, like I really was like really shocked, and I thought probably there is more to the story. And it stayed in my mind. I know that this guy probably watching this video now, remembering me telling this story, but it was in the back of my mind. But I thought, okay, maybe it was just something else. And recently, what happened? I have a very good friend, Stryker, know him as well. It's my male friend that is very cool guy. And he is a very charismatic, and he is very good at compliments, and he always make any women around him very smiley, happy. He's married, he has a child, so he's a great father. But he also like always, when he see the lady, he will always give a compliment, and all the ladies, all of our friends like love him because he's like our, I would say like a girlfriend for us, but it's like he always giving compliment, and he always will notice, oh, you have a nice dress, oh, you have nice earrings or something. Maybe a little bit like even something that other guys would not mention, because I say, Stryker, do you see that I have new earrings? He say, no. But you know, for the girls it's very important. That's why we always coach our guys and we say, guys, please tell the lady compliment. When you start the call, tell the compliment. And the guys always very cautious about that, right? Like they're very cautious, and I can't understand why. So recently, this friend, he worked in an IT company. It's a Ukrainian American company. He went to United States for the meetup with the team. And I know him very well. Like, he is always very, very polite. He's very intelligent. And he was probably joking around with the girls. And I know for sure that, he always giving compliments to the ladies. It's just him. So basically, I don't know exactly like what he said and stuff, but I know how he usually act. When he returned to Ukraine, he got notice in his like work report or something that some lady or ladies report some kind of harassment on him, that he was like rude, or how to explain that?
He was
like,
inappropriate.
He was inappropriate and he was rude, and it was like this and that. He was shocked. He was shocked. He called me because I work in this industry. I work with Western guys. He said, Luba, can you imagine? Like, can you believe in that? Like, I'm shocked. Like, I'm so ashamed, but I didn't do anything. And knowing these guys for like 15 years, I know exactly how he was playful. And I said, what did you do? He said, we have an event. It was like a white party, and one lady came. She has a very nice dress. And I said, like, wow, like you look great, because like you met her like a year ago. And he said something that, you look so much fitter or something like that. She like in Ukraine, every girl would be like, oh, wow, thank you so much. It's so nice. This report him that he was like offending her, and he was like saying her inappropriate things. When I said that to like, I thought it's ridiculous. I told it to Stryker, and Stryker said, so now you understand, right, why the guys are very cautious with what they say to the ladies.
Yeah, it's like, it was sad. Like, when we told me that story, it was so sad, because what's happening is that this feminist movement that's going around has recruited these minions, these women that don't really understand what
fighting for.
Yeah, they certainly don't know what the top feminists are fighting for, because if they did, they wouldn't be involved in this, right? So, and what they're doing is that these women are eliminating not just them out of the dating market, but all women as well. And there are women out there, like if he'd said it to possibly a different woman, she would have gone, thank you very much, and they would have gone about their day, and we wouldn't be making a video about it, and life would have just gone on as normal. But because there was some woman who may have been triggered by some video that she saw, some ideology from some feminist, that told her that you should never ever put up with a man who does this, which is a compliment, right? So we've got to a point now in Western society where a compliment is now been pushed into this Me 5 movement, because it's right there. And so why should men take care of women in the West, right? Why should they extend a hand out to help them come up some steps, or to help them with the door or anything like that? Why should they? Because it is so risky, right? Because your friend could have lost his job, and like the other person who also could have lost his job, his one was, he made a comment. We don't know exactly what it was. Maybe it was a slightly cheeky comment, but is it that bad? It's not like he grabbed her and put her in the back of the car, or even touched her or did anything. He made a compliment that he was enjoying the view, right? So that's a compliment. Most women would be empowered by that. And I know that 20, 30 years ago, they would have been empowered by that. In Ukraine, they are empowered by it. They do feel great, because they try so well, or they take a lot of effort to look good, because they have to look good in order to snag a man, right? And then they have to try and keep the man around, right? That's why if you go to Ukraine, or I guess any of these other sort of post-Soviet countries that have lower socioeconomics within that country, the women have to look good because they have to keep a man. In the West, these feminists, they do not have to keep a man. In fact, these ones at the top are spreading their message through the attractive ones. That's the thing that's so ridiculous about this, is that they're using these overweight, blue-haired women that are not interested in men at all, have somehow infiltrated attractive women. It's the brilliant plan. If you're a feminist that's trying to destroy any chance of a relationship between a man and a woman, what better way to do it is to recruit women that are attractive, teach them that when a man says something to you, file a whatever at your work and get him fired. Like, it's brilliant. It's so good. Like, if you're a feminist, it's like the ultimate plan. And that's what's so sad about it. And when Luba told me the story, it's like women in other countries don't subscribe to this garbage. They simply don't have time for it, right? To go and write a letter to, like, even if one of them wrote a letter to their boss in Ukraine and said, oh, some guy said a compliment to me, she would get fired for being an idiot. She would. That's just the way it is. But in the United States, it has to be taken seriously because of this hashtag movement stuff that's going on. Or then otherwise the boss is going to lose business, right? This is how ridiculous it actually is. And so, I don't know, I just thought that it was, when Luba told me the story, it was just like, this is exactly, Luba, please. Now you understand how ridiculous it is, and why some of these guys are so scared, so cautious about doing these things because in their culture, in our culture, it's seen as weakening, or you have a weakened view of women, and you shouldn't do that. You should have an empowered view of women, and you should help them to be empowered by not complimenting them. Otherwise, they may take offense. It's absurd.
I'm the one who always push the guys to do the compliments and give gifts, and help the ladies to feel feminine, and for me, it's shocking. You're right, like how pleasant, like for Ukrainian lady, there is nothing better than a compliment. And I know that some Western guys, like I sometimes get very strange messages, like, oh, if she went out with her friends, is she go out there to hook up with the guys? And I every time I got this comment, I'm thinking, okay, I'm not gonna think about that just like how I think. I will ask my friends, my female friends, and we remember our times when we go out in Odessa, and we just when we go out, it's us. Yes, of course, it depends. It's hard to say. If the ladies are single and they want to look for somebody, of course they will. But it's very bad to say in generic. And there's nothing better than give a compliment to a lady. And in Ukraine, people are very cold. You know that people are not really smiley. And I recently went to the shop, and there was an older guy. He was selling I need some stuff for the oven, and really he was older, but he has such a beautiful blue eyes. And I thought, will it be stupid if I give him a compliment? But I can't stop myself. I just really wanted to say how beautiful his eyes are. And and I said that. And he, even the guy, for everybody.
He actually emailed me and he made a complaint.
Yes.
Yes, I need to fire you.
But he, I think that saying something nice to the person, it's always powerful. It always feels nice. And for Ukrainian lady, it's very important to hear. And today I was living, Spain is very different. Spain is very open. A lot of, even in the market, somebody, guapa, cariño, it's their culture to give you compliments all the time. And the older guy opened the door. I was walking out of the elevator, and he was he saw that I'm walking. He shouldn't keep the door because it was another 2 minutes to wait, but he was, and it was very nice, when the person did something nice to you. And
yeah, I think, I think that it's this whole garbage, I think it's mostly isolated within the United States. I'll say that. Even in New Zealand, I have never really heard any of this sort of stuff, and even to this day, I haven't really heard any the stuff of this hashtag movements. I think it's United States. I think a lot of it too is also virtue signaling. I think that there are guys out there that, if men are jumping on this bandwagon as well, they believe if they jump on this bandwagon, then they'll get the woman. So they're like, hey, yeah, leave our woman alone. We respect women, as if they're going to choose them. The other thing too is that it's also very subjective, right? Because if a woman says, I don't want that particular man complimenting me, but I guarantee you if Johnny Depp or some handsome superstar turns up and says, oh, you look very beautiful, she's not filing any reports saying Johnny Depp said that I had nice hips. He was enjoying the view or anything like that. So it's subjective as well. And that's what makes it so difficult for men. Because how can you walk up to a woman and say, hey, I like your eyes, I like your hair.
But what is so bad about this?
That's the whole thing.
When I was in US this summer, it's interesting because I have these dresses that always different color. It's not black and white. I always like a rainbow. It's also bad to say now, but anyway. And it's interesting that here in Spain, in Ukraine, people are looking at you, right? And in America, people try not to make eye contact, especially guys nowadays. They're scared to look at the ladies. And I look because I always observe relationship between men and women. I always see if there's any connection, who look at whom. But I got maybe 10 compliments from women on the West that would never happen probably in Ukraine. It's very, girls are very cold to each other there. And if you got compliment from a lady, it's you look super top. But the guys, they're just they even scared, they're scared to look. They try to avoid because they're scared. It feels that the guys, the not generation, but the tribe, right? Pride of men are now are scared. They're
exactly.
Scared. They're scared to do something, and it's not how it should be. Dating a Ukrainian lady will empower you. It will give you this. You have to be more open. You can do almost anything you want. Not offend her, of course, but if you say something nice, if you hold her hand, if you compliment her dress, if you say something about her hair, if you even find something it's nothing better to just oh, there's something, and it's this is a physical touch. This connection, the signals. Nobody gonna file. Everybody will like it, and the lady will think, oh, this guy is just. Every touch.
This guy's confident.
Confident.
You know?
confident.
And
Every touch you do to another person, it's
Yeah.
like these little things that making you closer together.
Yeah, well, like we teach this to our guys as well when they have their first date. Like the first thing that you should be doing is you should be paying some compliment to something around her. Like don't say you're the most beautiful woman or whatever that I've ever seen. But we go through this with our guys as well because what it does is it shows that you are that you're confident and you're capable of giving a woman a compliment and just saying it as if it's a passing comment, right? And it's very powerful when a woman,
Very.
her first impression of you, you know. But we can understand why, you know, men are getting beaten down. It's so sad. It really is sad. And then like you have some women on the other side of the spectrum who are sort of semi-feminist themselves. I've seen these women like on shorts on TikTok and things like that saying there are no men out there that take charge, that take leadership roles and all this stuff. And it's like, hang on, don't complain about them. Complain about the other women that are feminists, that are stopping these men from doing that. Because it's a spin of the roulette wheel whether or not what reaction you're going to get. And it's just, you're right, it's absolutely ridiculous. And if these women really were truly offended by getting a compliment, they would not wear makeup. They would wear a long black dress that goes from here down to her toes and just the eyes are being shown. Oh, wait a minute. There is actually a culture that actually already does that to stop men from complimenting these women and paying attention to them. So these semi-feminist minions, they're stuck in the middle. They don't know what to do. They want a husband, but they don't want to be on the side against the feminists. And so they spread this disastrous information and these complaints, and it's so sad. And men, I beg of you, do not waste your time with this stuff. It is a spin of the roulette wheel. There are other options out there. I'm not saying you should go to date a Ukrainian woman, but just there are other countries, you know, and it's so sad. It really is so sad to see men being beaten down. And I am so scared for the next generation of men who probably are not even going to leave their bedroom, right? They're not. They're going to stay in there and go, it's not worth it. I might lose my job. I might end up in jail. I might get something, you know, some false claim against me or something like that. It's so sad and it's horrible. And I can see with probably the way it's going, we've probably only got like 2 generations left before the world is over.
On this positive note, we recommend you to date ladies that will appreciate your
Yes.
masculinity, your leadership, your certainty, your desire to build a relationship and be the,
Yeah.
be
They
the
will,
real
they, will,
man.
they will empower you by simply just appreciating the fact that you are masculine. They won't try and take your power away because you are trying to show some masculine traits towards a woman, okay? So that's the thing. Anyway, that's the end of the video for today.